Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Hope everybody's with me. Hope you're having a good day. It is a gorgeous day out. One of the last gorgeous days will be until I think Tuesday or Wednesday, at least here in New York City. Um, my heat is going good. I had to put the heat on last night because we hit like 36 degrees last night. I mean, we've been dealing with 60 degrees. The other day was almost 70 degrees. Yesterday was in the mid 50s, which was a nice crisp chilly air for me walking yesterday. But now today it's like in the 40s. I believe it's now 46. So we are also expecting a bad storm here in New York. Um, my electric company already texted and says, if there's any outages in your area tomorrow, we are anticipating a bad storm. If there are any outages, text us. And I like that. So this way I text them, they text back, all automated systems saying that we got your report. And they text me back saying that the service will be coming back on shortly or whatever. It's pretty cool how they do that. I like that. Never before, God bless technology with cell phones and everything. Want to do a quick, I don't know how quick it's going to be, a short review. As you notice, I'm wearing my Iron Maiden shirt. I am a big music fan. I like Iron Maiden as well. I like many other bands. Iron Maiden just came out with a new album, another live album. And I say another live album because they are very much into the live albums, which is great. Usually with a live album, we also see a live DVD. We haven't seen a live DVD in quite some time. They did the last tour, and they didn't have a live DVD either. They only had live CD. They had a live studio album of that tour, which was the Book of Souls tour. They did the Book of Souls album, then they came out with the live album, and they came out with the live CD and studio. This time they're only coming out with a live CD. But it is what it is. It's still music. I'm going to get to that in a second. It is Iron Maiden. Let me go back on this because right now I'm on my Kindle. It is Iron Maiden, Knights of the Dead, Legacy of the Beast, live in Mexico City. Now, Legacy of the Beast tour has been going for quite some time. They also have a video game, Legacy of the Beast. So that's actually what really inspired this tour to happen, which is actually the music, excuse me. Excuse me. Their music from the video game, from their video game. And you can download that on your phone, Legacy of the Beast. I actually play it. It's a good game. I like it. Haven't done it in a while, but I'll get back to it again. So, the tracks on the album, if you're a Maiden fan, you would know Churchill's Speech, which is always the opening for them. Aces High, Where Eagles Dare, 2 Minutes to Midnight, The Klansman, The Trooper, Revelations. Here's a good one for you. For the Greater Good of God, which somebody in a review says it's about time that they have from the studio album Live, I don't want to say Live After Death, but it was a matter of life and death. That was the name of the album, in which that song comes off of that album. They have never actually, from what I understand, performed a song live from that studio album. So this is a real treat for this. Okay, and that song is called For the Greater Good of God. Then you have the Wickerman, Sign of the Cross, Flight of the Icarus, Fear of the Dark, Number of the Beast, the song Iron Maiden itself, and The Evil That Men Do, Hallowed Be Thy Name, and Run to the Hills. Now, I also understand there are two versions of this album. There's a regular version, and then there is a 2-disc deluxe CD version. I own a lot of their music, absolutely. Do I own the whole entire catalog? No. And it kind of seems to be in dribs and drabs. I own most of their music, but it's kind of a toss-up. I own some of it on CD. I own most of their live DVDs. That's a must. I have to do the live DVDs. I like the visualizing. I like to see them perform. I've seen them in concert many times, my husband and myself. Been a fan since the 80s. My husband introduced me to this type of music back in the 80s. My first album from Maiden, which is I bought on cassette tape, which is Power Slave. That did it for me. So I want to say that I own most of their music, most of their albums from iTunes, and I do purchase from iTunes. Yes, you should purchase from streaming downloads. You should purchase your music. So that was it on that. What I want to do is actually give a review on this. Am I crazy about this album? No. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I am not crazy about this album. I've heard better versions of the songs, although the band is tight. They've always been tight. They're pretty freaking tight on this one. I'll give you that. They are. Is the audio good? The audio's okay. I wouldn't say the audio is fantastic. They don't do overdubs or anything. At least I think that they don't. Many bands nowadays do overdubbing. Some of them have actually admitted to overdubbing. Right, Kiss? Right. Absolutely. For voice-wise, audio-wise, it just makes everything sound better. But at the meantime, you have a fan like myself is saying, you know what, you may sound good, but to me, you're sounding more fake by doing that. I'm not getting my money's worth. There has to be hidden bells and whistles, usually. With Maiden, I want to say I don't feel that they overdub. And the reason why is because the audio on this CD itself, I believe that the music is overpowering his vocals. And he is actually, Bruce Dickinson, is actually working a little too hard on this album to be heard. His voice, he is to me a theatrical singer. He is theatrical. He is a dramatic singer. He comes with levels on his voice. It's just amazing. Ever since the 80s, and we're going back 30 some odd years. I know I hate to do that, but we are. I'm going to do that. Voice-wise on this, now he's had his medical problems. He's had cancer. He's had mouth cancer. He's had throat cancer. He's overcome all that. Treatments. He's done it all. He is an amazing person. He is an amazing singer. I don't want to say musician. I mean, I'm sure he plays guitar. I know that, but he doesn't do it on stage or anything. His thing is just his vocals. I feel that many people have said this, and I have to agree with you out there. I call it as I see it. I've heard the whole album. Now, this is on Spotify. I didn't purchase it yet, but I will. What I do is I listen to the whole entire CD in its entirety. Mostly on headphones because you hear better sounds on headphones. This is why I'm getting to such a strong review on this. The vocals are strained. Now, I know he's had problems. He's only 61, 62 years old? He's still young yet. But I know he's had his problems, and I keep stressing that. Do I give that the benefit of the doubt because he's had problems? Maybe. But at the same time, us as true fans, loved the band for years. I totally understand. We want our musicians to stay the same forever. We don't want them to age. If they are with a happy family, we don't want them to get divorced. And we don't want them to lose their looks. We don't want them, sure as hell, to lose their voice. We don't want them to lose any of their talent whatsoever. We want them to stay the same forever, which in the real world is never going to happen. None of us stay the same forever, you know that. But the vocals are, in fact, strained. You can hear it. It's just like a constant, and it's on the same level. It's like he's screaming it. It's just, there is no, there is none of that. I don't feel that power in this. I just don't. To me, this doesn't kick. If you want to say, also, the line comes to me, I've heard it all before. Yes, you know what? I probably could write a song. I've heard it all before. I'm sure there's a song out there with that. But basically, I have heard it all before. These songs I've heard. These are more, to me, I go to see a band in concert. I want to hear parts of a new album. I want to hear the new songs from the new album done live. My husband's not really into it. When we go to see a tour of something, he'll say, well, I hope they do this song. I hope they do. I said, you don't understand. They could do some of the old stuff, but they're plugging. They have to bring out the new music. This is why we're going to see them. My husband's 8 times out of 10, and I'm going to say 8 times out, he's not really into that. He would rather hear the standards and the classics, and he wants to hear that certain note be hit when the person sings. So do I, but I like some change with that. I expand myself as far as that's concerned. This album, it's the same live album as every other live album. I've heard it all before. Bruce, again, has his own problems. He had his own situation. Everybody's got problems. Everybody's got situations. You know, everybody's got problems. I'm going to go into this a little bit. We went to Bruce's book signing a few years ago, and I have his book. Okay, book is called What Does This Button Do? And, you know, it goes through, you know, his life and his personal, you know, his personal life, his struggles, his illness, his illness. I feel, I'm going to give you my honest opinion, this is just one big run through. When he gets on a subject, he can make it a 14 chapter just on one subject. I guarantee you he probably could, but unfortunately it's a book, so he had to shorten it. Or else he'd probably have an encyclopedia set with full volumes of just one subject per volume. This is how I'm picturing it. We went to the book signing a few years back when the book first came out. That was interesting. Would I ever do a book signing for this again or him again? Probably not. Just by the way I feel, in my personal opinion, fans were treated. It wasn't a, hi, how you doing? Thank you so much for supporting me. You know, what's your name? Where you're from? As you're signing the book. And then, you know, well, have a nice day. Nice meeting you. Maybe a handshake. And then you go on. Okay, this was... We get to the bar, which was, we had tickets for our bar in Brooklyn, St. Vitus. I love that bar. God bless you. I hope you guys are doing good during this pandemic. I am sure it's not easy. It's not easy for anybody. However, we went to see Bruce's book signing experience at St. Vitus Bar in Brooklyn. Okay. How it was is that, he, you know, we had our tickets pre-purchased. We went the night of the book signing. You walk in and you get a book because it's prepaid for with the ticket. I think it was like $35 a person, which is not bad at all. Absolutely not bad. It was a great thing. We get the book. When we come in, we get a ticket with a number. Now, sometimes this one doesn't have it. That's where we got the ticket with the number. There used to be, or maybe in my other book, there was a number. I think it was like 185. I remember the number is 185. So the lady says she's going to be calling by the numbers. She says they're probably going to call in groups. When you hear the number, you know, in between your numbers, then you get on the line. Okay, fine, no problem. Bruce comes out, does his spiel. I don't mean a spiel, but, you know, there was no announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome Mr. Bruce Dickinson? There was none of that. He just floated out on stage. Hey, everybody, how you doing? I mean, you know, oh, good, he's here. That was one. We're standing because, you know, it would be just as if we were standing for a concert, but there's just one guy on stage and he's talking. Then he shows a slideshow, which most of the pictures are in the book. They're in color. Some of them are in color. Some of them are black and white. About his life from when he was younger to his concerts at Iron Maiden to all the accomplishments that he has done. Yeah. Then he starts to read a chapter from his book. Now, when you usually go to a bookstore like a Barnes & Noble, so you see a famous author, they're going to we get to sit down, and they will read a chapter or an excerpt. Now, that's not a full chapter. That's an excerpt. Bruce read a whole entire chapter, which took more than 15, close to 20 minutes. I've never been to a book signing before, so this was new to me. It was an experience, especially the chapter he read. There are many other better chapters in this book. He spoke about after his chemotherapy treatment, it was difficult for him to use the restroom. And I'm trying to say this in the nicest way. So a whole chapter about how he had to try and go to the bathroom. Some parts were funny. Some parts were getting annoying, and I'm just going to be the first person to say it. Do I want to hear all about that? About your bodily functions? Not really. I'm not into that. So, but again, it is his story. It's his life. It's what he went through. Most of us, I know, I don't think I would put that in a book. But anyway, it is part of his journey. So, he also, the man is multi-talented. He's a jack of all trades. And I mean a jack of all trades. I mean, what he does, he flies his own plane. He flies a commercial jet. He has a commercial jet's pilot license. He can go at any airport or any plane company and say, listen, I'm a pilot. I have my thing. Let's say if he ends Iron Maiden, he just wants to continue working as a pilot. He's got his pilot's license. The band Iron Maiden did the whole tour. They did the whole documentary, Flight 666, just about their journey of the concert, and he flew the whole tour on the plane, on the Ed Force One, which was named, not Air Force One, but Ed Force One. They had their own airplane for that. And to do your own tour, you don't have to wait for a tour bus. You don't have to wait for somebody else's plane. You just get on your own damn plane. Some of the fans were actually treated during the tour, depending on the package deal, depending on what country and what city that they were, mostly out of the country. They weren't doing it in the United States. But part of the package deal, when you get to, you purchase your tickets, it was part of a package that you get on the plane. They fly you to, you actually are a passenger on that plane as well. Could you just imagine? That is so cool. This is your captain speaking. This is your captain speaking, Bruce Dickinson. I'm good. The weather conditions for today are so and so. They're a little bumpy. Could you just imagine hearing that? That really is cool. I'll give you that. He is amazing on that. Person-wise, for the signing of this book, going back to this, he now is done reading. He's done doing his funny bit. Goes off stage. We all get the announcement. We all have to leave the room. We're in the middle of the stage with the ballroom. We all have to leave the room again because they're going to start calling the numbers. So they call numbers in sections, like batches. 1 through 120. 121 through 175. Things like that. I think we were 185. I want to say the number was 185. Okay, but anyway. The process of it was smooth transaction. It was done quick. The thing that bothered me the most, you have fans. Do like a quick run through. Go up. Hello, Bruce, how are you? Takes the book from me. There's 2 people standing with him. You're not allowed any pictures. He had a whole bunch of rules. They had too many rules. For a split-second meeting. And I mean a split-second meeting. And he's talking not to anybody, but he's talking to the 2 people. And he's just talking to them. He does, hello, Bruce, how are you? I'm trying to put my head down. Thank you for doing the signing. He opens up the book. He's talking to the other lady. Okay. And he just hands the book back over. And the lady says, okay, you can step away now. Next. Really? I was like totally disappointed in this shit. And you can actually look up on YouTube. I'm sure they have. I think there was another guy that tried to talk to him. Not from my book signing, but there was other book signings. He did a whole tour of this. As a matter of fact, he's still public speaking now at this point. This was like, 3 years ago? So it was about 3 years later. And he's still doing public speaking and everything. While they're still touring and everything. Well, not now they're touring because of the pandemic. The thing is that you didn't have time. It was like no feeling. There was no feelings in it. You couldn't have time to have a feeling. You know, he could have at least picked his, and furthermore, he didn't even pick his head. He could have at least picked his head up and said, "Oh, thank you so much for buying my book. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great night. Thank you so much." Nada. Nada. But I do notice that there were certain people that were being paid attention to just a little bit. Maybe he knew them. Maybe they were people that followed them, you know, with the concerts and stuff. That was like, I was a little PO'd with that. And I let it be known to my husband too. And even my husband shook his head. You know, it's like a once in a lifetime thing. We ain't going to be doing this again. But, you know, it was just something to have done. So, I mean, I do have the signature in the books. But that's not the point. Was it done cold? Yeah, it was. I mean, I've met people before, not at book signings, because like I said, I've never done a book signing before. But, you know, there's the autograph. Thank you, Mr. Dickinson. It was a cold experience. It was a cold experience. So, again, in the book, it is, I want to say, long and dragged out, even though it is a short book. I did this book under a week's read. I wanted to savor it. I was trying to savor it to make it kind of last, but I just kind of like blew through it. The last part of the book is actually the book with the bathroom situation. That I totally skipped. I said, no, I heard this already. I don't need to read it. I don't need to read it again. But that was near the ending of the book. So he doesn't really speak too much of his family. He's got his family life. He's got, you know, he was married twice. Once for a very, 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 very short time. And then he was married again for 20 some odd years. He has 3 beautiful children, 2 sons and a daughter. Both sons have music careers of their own. They're in their own bands. Their daughter, you never hardly hear about her. And recently he just got a divorce from that same wife of over 20 years. Unfortunately, they just lost her. She passed away unexpectedly. And he's not one to give interviews. He's not one to come out and speak about that stuff. He'll public speak about everything else, but family life, personal life, you know, it's his personal thing. Everybody has that preference. They never said why she passed away. Everybody, I guess, has their own views, which, you know, turn around, you could easily say, you know, it's none of your business. No, we know it's none of our business. But when you're in the public eye like this, you know, he said he's devastated. Those were the words he used. And he said that she passed away from a tragic accident. Tragic accident. I guess we need to draw our own conclusions. You know, I mean, it does make you think. I know the situation a few years back is that there's a fan that's been following him around for a good over 10 years. She's been a fan of theirs she always follows him for the past 10 years. Well, all of a sudden, the news came out that he's getting a divorce, and he's now living in France with the girl that has been a fan and following him around for the past 10 years. Coincidence? I don't think so. No. See, I don't appreciate that. I don't condone that shit. I don't like that. His wife of over 20 years, bared 3 of his children, has probably went through a hell of a lot. Put up with a lot of shit, probably. As many wives probably do. You know. But at the same time, I'm sure she's had a good life. She's got a beautiful home and 3 beautiful children. They all have careers. You know, she should have been happy about that. But I just think she, you know, took it very bad. That's what I want to say. I want to say she took it very bad. I want to say that. She went through his cancer situation. She was the one there for that. His children were also there for that. And this is what has happened. It's a shame. It's a shame. And God bless you, Patty. God bless you, Patty. And that's a shame. I hope you're looking down on heaven of looking at the great success of your children, because they're amazing. They're beautiful children. It's always kids that suffer. I don't care how old that they are during a divorce. It's hurtful. It's hurtful. What a shame. But the book, again, I wouldn't do it again. I read it. Would I read it again? No. I just have it. It's a signature. Nice. Okay. With that being said, and again, the CD. I'm not sure if I'm going to purchase the physical CD of it, because, like I said, I don't have that many physical CDs of them. I mostly have them purchased on iTunes. So, is it a great CD? I don't think so. Not in my opinion. I've heard better, as you already know. I don't want to repeat myself. So I'm just going to leave this review the way it is. What are your views on it? Have you heard it? How big of a Maiden fan of you? How big of a Maiden fan are you? You know, what's your favorite songs? Have you ever seen them in concert? Last concert I seen was Book of Souls, so that was really it. That was it. And the band Ghost opened up. Yes. Another favorite band of mine. Oh my God. Even my husband, who never has an opinion, who is very hard to ask his criticism on something, was actually impressed with the band Ghost. He says, you know, I like that. He said they were good. Yes. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. I hope I did the review justice. I did it according to my personal opinion. It is my sole opinion. I do not reflect the opinions off of anybody else. It is what I say. We can agree to disagree. That's fine. That's cool. But it is what it is. Thank you so much. Happy Sunday. God bless you. I'll be back with another music review because I got a few other things going. I got a few other things going. So take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.